Our study so far has covered the ministry of the Word and the ministry of prayer, the first two among four leadership dynamics for vitality. Session 6 takes us on a deeper dive into the second set of paired dynamics, leading with high support and leading with high challenge. Our theme passage, surprise, is the Great Commission. Jesus offers a very high support for his disciples as he explains that all authority from God the Father has been given to him. He is sending them out in that authority. Further, he assures them that he is always with them through God the Spirit to the end of the age. At the same time, he issues a daring high challenge. He challenges them to go and make disciples, to baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and to teach them to obey all that he has commanded them. Wow, there could be no higher support, and there could be no higher challenge. In framing this discussion, we will be using a leadership construct from Giant Worldwide, a global enterprise that is dedicated to leadership development. And we will examine these two dynamics in tandem. I have personally trained with Giant Worldwide, giving me insight into their tools and permission to use them. This construct or tool is the Support Challenge Matrix, and it's presented in your workbook. The four-quadrant matrix is formed by the crossing of a vertical axis with a horizontal axis. The vertical axis ranges bottom to top from low support to high support, while the horizontal axis ranges left to right from low challenge to high challenge. This creates four quadrants that indicate four different leadership styles and four different organizational cultures. The issue for us as church leaders is to determine how we should lead, meaning first, what leadership style do we want to establish? And second, what congregational culture do we want to nurture? In considering leadership styles, here's a quick overview of the four quadrants. Quadrant 1 features a leadership style of protector that provides high support with low challenge. Quadrant 2 features a leadership style of liberator that provides high support with high challenge. Quadrant 3 features a leadership style of abdicator that provides low support with low challenge. And Quadrant 4 features a leadership style of dominator that provides low support with high challenge. I'm sure you're already beginning to see where this is headed and which quadrant is the optimum quadrant. So let's move in closer. In considering the distinctions among these leadership styles and the culture that each engenders, let's begin by zooming into Quadrant 3. This leadership style is tagged with the descriptive title abdicator. The abdicator style, of course, is tied to the behavior of abdication, failing to provide either high support or high challenge. Key leaders tend to allow ministry to happen simply on its own, going in whatever direction casual leaders permit. There is no sense of unity or alignment among ministries, as each ministry is its own universe or silo. The culture is one of apathy, complacency, resignation, low expectations, and/or ambivalence. Leaders have no sense of making a dynamic future happen, but are content to wait for the future to happen and see what arrives. Denial is often present, either the denial of not recognizing problems or refusing to take ownership of the problems. Whatever has gone wrong is viewed as coming from external sources. These problems are not seen as the product of anything that leaders or the congregation have done, but as a result of outside forces. As such, there is often a victim mentality that pervades. For such a church to begin to forge a productive future, leaders must intentionally begin to establish a new leadership style and intentionally begin to establish a new culture. This requires more than improvement of the status quo. It requires transformation. Quadrant 4 features a leadership style that carries the descriptive title Dominator. The dominator style then is tied to the behavior of domination, characterized by high challenge but low support. In local church ministry, this dynamic typically emanates from a domineering senior pastor, but occasionally from another highly influencing leader. Even in denominational contexts where polity mitigates against such practices, domineering leaders tend to isolate from such checks and balances, maintaining a firm personal control on ministry at the local level. This dominance creates a culture of fear and manipulation as people are afraid to say no to a challenge or are afraid of not performing well and being chastised or humiliated. They often feel manipulated as they are held hostage because of that fear. Dominators tend to see their agendas or visions as paramount, and everyone else in the sphere of that agenda or vision is viewed as a servant. The dominators are the generals, and all others are foot soldiers. Ironically, churches of this type often generate impressive statistics that, when viewed from afar, don't portray the dysfunctional inner workings of the church. This is the result of strong alignment in a singular direction, the direction that the dominator has established. This pseudo-unity can seemingly be very productive for a season, but inevitably there will be a collapse. For such a church to forge a productive future, leaders must overcome the dominator leadership style, which often means overcoming a dominating senior pastor or other highly influential leader. Needless to say, this is a rough road that, in the case of a pastor dominator, will typically require that pastor's exit. Quadrant 1 features a leadership style that carries the descriptive title Protector. The protector style protects or guards or shields and is characterized by high support but low challenge. In the case of local church ministry, from what the congregation being protected. Folks are being protected, guarded, or shielded from high challenge. In other words, from responsibility. There is a concern among protective leaders that expecting too much of their congregation will result in decreased attendance, as well as slowing the pace of newcomers plugging in. So, a small core of the truly committed take on all the responsibility, all the challenge, and provide stellar support for everyone else. Initially, this creates a culture of entitlement, as rank and file attendees get the benefit of high support without the responsibility of high challenge. As the church grows, however, it becomes more and more difficult for that small core to carry the load of high support. To achieve a better balance by moving away from this 95-5 application of the 80-20 principle, high support beneficiaries begin to be challenged to step up and carry their fair share. Culture can begin to shift at this point from entitlement to mistrust. Entitlement is now being violated by challenge to serve. This can be perceived as a classic bait and switch scenario. Benefits that used to be there with no apparent strings attached are found to have strings after all. For such a church to forge a sustainable future, it must intentionally make the journey from low challenge to high challenge while maintaining high support. At last, we come to Quadrant 2, that features a leadership style that carries the descriptive title Liberator. Obviously, this is the quadrant we need to live in, providing people with both high support and high challenge. Giant Worldwide promotes the phrase, become a leader worth following, be a liberating leader. Of course, people need and want high support, but the truth is, people also need and want high challenge, even if they don't know it. They want to have a role in something important, something bigger than themselves. The church can provide that, joining Jesus in his mission to seek and save the lost and to develop true worshipers. The local church is the perfect place to offer high support with high challenge in an enterprise that stretches into eternity. That culture that emanates from leaders that liberate is a culture of empowerment, where people have the opportunity to level up to their maximum potential while being fully supported in their efforts. This is a culture of true unity and alignment with an all-in mindset, an application of the unity that we gleaned from Ephesians 4 in session 1. The objective for a church that currently operates in quadrant 2 is to work intentionally to sustain the ministry of the liberator. Over time, both internal and external forces will surface that could derail such sustainability and move the church toward a different quadrant. It's up to liberating leaders to tend and nurture high support with high challenge to maintain a healthy ministry edge. Leading with high support while leading with high challenge features two dynamics that are important to the success of the Go Project. Now take what you've discovered further by completing the Session 6 workshop. Go for it.